Hello YouTube, I'm Vince White. I am an employment attorney, and on this channel we generally answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. Today, however, is story time because one of the videos earlier in the week, something occurred to me, a story from way back in the earlier days of my career. And I think this video goes up on Sundays, so maybe it's fitting that we post a story. I don't know. The stories seem to do well, honestly. So that's surprising, but so be it. We'll post the stories. Now, where to begin? Okay, so many of you may or may not know this, but I started my career, my law school days. I had a concentration in securities law. I had a fantastic professor who taught me a great deal. Really guided me, and I ended up working at an investment bank, which will remain nameless. And then, 2008 came about, and the financial crisis and all these things, and I ended up departing that investment bank that I was working at, and I had interned in employment law during my 1 or 2L year, I can't recall. And I liked it a lot. I liked the concept of being able to go after anyone I wanted. I liked, nobody was too big to go after. Kind of a hallmark of my career, I think. And I just love the fact that you just launch yourself at someone, almost no matter who it was. And as long as you were brave enough, you could, if they had done something wrong, you could get them. That's what I loved about employment law, fundamentally. So I left the investment bank, and I briefly worked at an employment law firm, but the money wasn't so great. The paychecks didn't really match my understanding of the deal or fairness. So at that place, so I exited, and I ended up working for a little while at like a family. How do I describe it? It's popularly called like a family office. You may be familiar with the concept. It's essentially like family money that's being thrown around and invested to make a small group of related people rich, essentially. So I was doing some securities work for them. The deal was essentially that I could do, they're like, listen, yeah, you come on over here. We need to structure some deals. They were running around buying companies in various industries. And I'm keeping everything super vague because there's no reason why I'd want to identify anyone in this story. But they were running around buying, companies here and there, doing this and that. They'd flip them for money. They would have like fights between the family, allegations, this and that. And so their deal was like they wanted me to help structure some of these deals. International deals in the U.S., like all over. They were buying and selling companies, like it was going out of style, essentially. And so I was there. I was working. I was able to. They supported me in bringing some of my employment cases. Got to give them credit. They were like, yeah, go ahead, do the employment stuff. It's a good look for us. Just go ahead, go help some people. Just be here to do the deals. Like make sure our deals are good. And which was a reasonable ask. I thought that was very reasonable of them. I thought they were being very gracious. I do still think they were being very gracious on that particular issue. They treated me very, very well. There was eventually a split between some of the people in that office. Almost like 3 different directions, to be honest. And that was stressful, but they treated me well. All parties. Literally all 3 of the groups of the factions treated me very well. But following the split, there was a day where I was working at the office late, as I do. I mean, it's about 8 p.m. right now, and I wanted to knock out some videos, so here we are. But it was probably about 8 p.m. that night, too. And I was working, in the office. This was back in the before times when people went to offices. And there was a knocking at the window, a rapping upon the window door. Knock, knock, knock. And I looked out the window and seemed like some nice folks. So I went out. And I guess I should give you a little background. This family office, they had money, but they also aggregated money from their community. I'm not going to name that community, but they would take money from that community and aggregate it and invest it as like this big, powerful chunk of money that could do big deals. And, you know, they got a lot of money from their community. Lots, some of it, you know, drips and drabs, 5,000, 10,000, some of it bigger, a couple 100,000 here, a couple 100,000 there, somebody's retirement nest egg, you know, that kind of stuff. So I go out, I talk to the people, and the people are like, hey, we have been trying to get in touch with, we'll just call him your boss, for weeks. We need to talk about the money we invested in his fund. I was like, oh, okay, well, he's not here right now. I can put a note on his desk or, like, book you an appointment and, like, get you in here. Like, I'll put some time in his calendar. And they're like, these people are like, yeah, it's not going to work, kid. He's not, like, we have been chasing him. He is, like, dodging us in the community. Like, I don't think it's going to be so easy as leaving a note on his desk. I was like, okay, well, can you tell me a little bit more about what's going on? Let me see if there's something I can help you with. Famous last words. And they're like, well, okay, can we come in off the street? And I was like, yeah, 100%. Brought them in, sat down in my office. They have a young child with them. Nice couple and their young child. Young child's looking like he's having a rough time. And they go through and explain to me that although they have health insurance, their child is very sick, and the health insurance is insufficient to pay for all of the treatments required for the child. I'm not going to name the child's sickness, but it was, you know, it was very serious. And I fully believe them. Later in my, I had not yet had cancer at this point, but later in my life I had cancer, and let me tell you, I had insurance until, thanks to Obamacare, my insurance company went bankrupt in New York State and lapsed in the middle of my chemo. Yeah, I am one of the only people who can legitimately say thanks, Obama, because he tried to kill me. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. He did try to kill me. I think it was personal, but anyways, let me tell you, even though I had insurance for a while until it went bankrupt, and then I quickly obtained other insurance, which was not easy to do. Having cancer cleaned me out. Like, I opened this iteration of this firm, this law firm that operates today. When I originally opened it after having cancer, I did so with I had $6,000 in my pocket. Like, that's it. That's all I had left to my name after, you know, like 7 years of effectively practicing, like doing well at helping people in the realm of employment law. I was cleaned out by my cancer experience. And this is the American healthcare system, right? So that had not happened to me yet, but like I fully believe them that they were not able to have all of their child's medical care covered by their health insurance. And it was very clear this child needed, you would look at this child and be like, yeah, this kid needs help. And they were like, listen, it's not a lot of money, but we need the money back. I forget what it was. It was like $25,000 that they had invested in the fund. And in the scheme of things, it was a drop in the bucket. Like, the companies that were being purchased were worth millions. This $25,000 was not all that meaningful to anyone in this family office. Besides me, at the time, I had nothing. I had nothing at the time. but I wasn't involved in, like, I was structuring these deals, but I wasn't taking money or soliciting money for these deals, nor was I like in any way handling like giving people back their dividends or refunds or whatever it is. None of that felt to me. I was just doing the legal documents for the purchase of these businesses. And so I'm sitting with these people, they're explaining to me what's going on. And I get worked up, as I do. And I said, okay, listen, give me your number, give me your address. I'm going to go to, we'll just call him the head of the family. I'm going to go to the head of the family's house. I have a good relationship with him. I'm going to go there right now. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to get you a check. I'm sure he'll cut you a check. I'm going to get you a check, and I will bring it to your house. So I text, we'll call him the head of the family again. I text the head of the family, hey, got to talk to you about the fund. Like, there's an issue. It's important. I got to come over now. He's like, Vince, it's like, at this point, it was like 9 p.m. He's like, it's 9 p.m. Come on over. I'll have a scotch ready for you. Which I took to be a very good start, right? He did not fully understand what I was coming over for, but I felt like that was a fairly good opening to this conversation. In my mind, scotch would help one part with $25,000. So I go over there and kind of tell him the story, and he's like, oh yeah, I meant to put that on your desk. And I was like, oh, amazing, you like the check for them? Yeah, I don't know why you put that on my desk, but I'll take it to them right now if you want. He was like, no, not the check. Yeah, we can't have people taking money in and out of the fund willy-nilly like that. It's going to set a bad precedent. People in the community are going to think that you can just take your money out of the fund. Can't have that. Like, okay, I mean, do you want me to do like confidentiality, non-disclosure? Like, we can make this hush hush when we get these people this money. Like, I can deal with that. We have the clauses. We have the technology. We can make it happen. He's like, nah, they'll talk. Like, well, that's okay. That's not. I don't think they will. They want their child to be okay. And he's like, no, yeah, you gotta tell him. You gotta kind of scare him off. Maybe threaten him with a lawsuit. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. What? I mean, this is your community. It's not my community. I mean, one would assume that doing the decent thing might be important. Turns out no. It was not initially important enough to him. So, yeah, I did not last at that job. That employment ended very rapidly. I do believe those people received their money. I believe that is accurate. Although I did not see it happen. I was already gone. And rather than having the nice funding from the family office to run my little employment practice, I had myself a 200 square foot space in Jackson Heights, Queens, above a bakery, which smelled amazing. Let me tell you, it was so good. So good. Giant, freshly baked sandwiches, $6. So good. Like huge. Like 2 pounds of food. Amazing. Yeah, that job ended so quick. I mean, you could say it ended overnight. Literally. This is not really an employment law story so much as just like a story of like something that you think is fake. Like when I tell this story, like when I recount it, I'm like, people will not believe you. People will think that story is fake. That sounds like a Dickens story. Like, please, sir, can I have some coal so my child doesn't freeze to death? because it is essentially a Charles Dickens story, right? Like, but it's also something that happened in real life. And that human being's response was, well, my community is very flighty. You can't just be letting them take their money out, because then everybody will want their money because they're going to go buy stupid stuff. And it's like, that is some weird self-referential hate that you're engaged in. But also, the child will die. Like, and this money does not matter to you at all. At all. At all. Not even a little bit. All right. Happy Sunday. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Helps me to help more people just like you. I don't even know if I'm going to post that story. I don't know.